All right. Hello, internet friends. I'm Ryan. This is After Dark. This is exciting. This is something that we've been working on for a while, and it is to have our friend Dave Hill on. And so this is rad. But it's kind of a different crew this evening. I don't have my Penetrator brothers here from Scythe Guitars, which is very different. And we'll see if I make it without my security blanket twins. But we do have Brian from Spruce Effects here. We have Charles from Silktone. We have our friend Anthony from Marla Amps here. Hello, my friend. And then our guest of honor, Mr. Dave Hill. How you doing, my friend?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Dude, absolutely. Thank you for making the time to do this. First off, I just gotta say, like, you tour hard, like really hard.
I have been, the last like 8 months or so, and then right now I'm kind of just trying to stay in New York mostly until May when I go back on tour. But yeah, I just I don't know, just trying to bring it to the people, and I figure the day will come when I'll just be sitting there soiling myself and whatnot. Not that which is not to say I'm not doing that now, but
is that part of your show? Or
yeah, I mean, when you want to take it to the next level.
Yeah, I was gonna say Gigi Allen.
I was just Gigi.
Oh my gosh.
There's a story, and we were talking about this before we came on the air. We were talking about some venues in Minneapolis. We were talking about First Avenue and 7th Street Entry. And there's a story that that Gigi played the 7th Street Entry, and he shoved a SM57 up his ass. Sure. And they put it in a bag. And
I have that one.
Well, the story was that if they ever got anybody who was like so high maintenance and so awful, they were going to give them the Gigi Allen mic, the mic that had been
oh my god,
Gigi's ass. And like, I know Paul Simon played there, so I'm thinking that might have been it.
He got the Gigi. I don't know. I feel like anytime you use an SM57 it might as well have been up Gigi Allen's ass. Right? I think every microphone, I'm always just like, here, let's I hope my immune system's working.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just kind of building it by,
remember like every mic that you went up to after COVID and you were like,
oh my god. I remember I did a show during COVID. I did like an outdoor because I did an outdoor show sort of reluctantly as my first, it's like, okay, it's outdoor. And I was just like avoiding people like the plague.
As it were.
And during the set, my lip touched the microphone and I thought, oh, here it is. I've got it. I was genuinely, I didn't freak out, but it was just in the back of my mind like the whole time. I was like, I have it now.
I remember walking into music stores and they had the little same mask material on microphones to demo with headphones. And it's like, you're not going to get the microphone sick. You're going to breathe onto this thing. The next person is going to breathe into it again. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's just collecting at that point on the mask.
Wait, so they had a mask over the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I just steered clear of Guitar Center or whatever for a few years there.
I like how I didn't name exactly which store it was, but you know where that level of like thought comes from. So.
Yeah. I figured it had to be Guitar Center.
But yeah, I mean, like, I used to consider myself a hard touring individual, but like you're out there a lot. Was there like a moment for you when how did you go? Like, did you go from music to comedy and decide to intertwine comedy with music, or were you a comedian who decided to intertwine music with comedy?
The former.
Okay.
I just said the former to be a jerk.
No, it's fine.
But yeah, I always played in bands, and never planned to go into comedy. And then I started singing in bands, and I liked talking on stage, and then so I started doing comedy, but I kept it. I didn't really put much music into my comedy for a long time because I still had a band, and I kind of just had a reverence for rock, and I was just like, I didn't really like, aside from like Tenacious D and Flight of the Conchords, and I'm sure there's a few others, but mostly I just wasn't into most musical comedy that I saw, and I didn't really know how I was gonna intertwine it. And then eventually, like, I started doing different shows. Like, my friend Tom Papa has a show, Come to Papa. My friend Wesley Stace has Cabinet of Wonders, and my friend Greg Barris had the show Heart of Darkness in New York, and they all of them had house bands. And so I was like, oh, there's a house band. I'll bring my guitar and just have it. And then I just started doing stand up while having the band's vamp behind me, and I would just kind of rip some solos. And I kind of realized that, you know, it's not really funny to be good, but then when you're really good, which isn't, I'm not me saying really, but like, I shouldn't say that. I should say when you like kind of do things that I think the lay person perceives as good, like right hand tapping, which is, pretty easy, but it just ends up being funny again once it starts to be like, so then once I realized that, then I was like, oh, okay. So I just like to rip. Also, on just a selfish level, you really only need half as many jokes if you're going to rip solos. Like
Fair enough.
a 10-minute set is a 20-minute set, a half-hour set's, it is an
Yeah.
hour. And then like on a lazy level, then I just have to leave the house once instead of twice because I'm kind of going out and telling jokes and I'm ripping solos and bringing my guitars out and pedals. And so I mean I still play in bands and stuff, but
Were you the dude in like the 15 passenger van like early on, and like everybody in the van was like, dude, you should stand up?
no, I mean, like, I think all my friends like growing up and stuff I mean, comedy is a weird thing because comedy is the only, I mean, it takes work and stuff, but I think it's the only profession where there's all sorts of people that have it in them to be like super pro level. Like all my friends, growing up, I think were funnier than I am, uh, or or at least as funny, and like, but I think to actually do it professionally, then you have to have like some sort of disorder or like some sort of flaw to be like, okay, I'm gonna actually do this. And because it's a really horrible idea, I think, to subject yourself to that, and to be that desperate for attention, and uh and just wanting people to love you. Like it comes from a horrible place. Like I know so few comedians who aren't just mentally ill, and I include myself in that. And I forget what the question was,
I
but
don't. I do too.
but I
I
don't know. No, so the point is, yeah, I ended up doing it, but yeah, I think it's one of those things where yeah, I don't know. I just started doing it. Yeah, I can't remember that. I had half a glass of wine because you had said it would be a good idea to have a drink. So I
Yeah.
use that as an excuse. Normally, I don't do anything where I'm speaking and have a drink. But since you said that people would be drinking, I did. And I'm not blaming you. I'm just
Oh,
saying
dude, it's the perfect place to do it.
how I lost track of whatever I was saying.
So I work for a guy. If you can say that, I work for a songwriter, stage persona type, who he wrote a book, and he went on a book tour, and he came back from the book tour, and he was like, dude, I had a hotel every night and it was like a good hotel every night, and it was just like I got paid every time. It was
Oh yeah.
amazing. I didn't have to wrestle with, a bar manager to get payment. It's just like, here's your money. Like, how do you, having done both, like toured as a musician in a band and toured as a comedic artist, like are they the same? Do you feel the same or does it feel different?
There are differences, with regard to that. I mean, something about music, there is that wiggle room of where like, oh, we're not going to pay you as much
Right.
just arbitrarily, or we're just going to screw you over. That's I mean, I think music in general, there's something like I find it a great mystery, just rock clubs in general. Like pretty much statistically speaking, I would say the vast majority of people running rock clubs come from nice, but backgrounds where the bathroom that they grew up with, like Tyler Bicknell, who's rock hard right now. That's a normal reaction when I speak. But most rock club owners, it's safe to say, all grew up in homes where there was toilet paper and soap in the bathroom, right? But why, like middle class at least, and then for some reason it's completely acceptable to just not have any of that in a rock club. And it's just like, oh yeah, we all come from the suburbs, we all come from nice homes, and whatever, I can't be bothered to have soap and toilet paper and hand towels, just like because we're in a rock club now.
Did you
But that doesn't happen in comedy, really.
Okay. Did you ever play the 400 bar in Minneapolis like back in the day?
No, the only place I played in Minneapolis music, I think, that I can remember is 7th Street Entry
Okay.
and First Avenue. But yeah, there's just something I don't know, and it's a distinctly American thing, I think, also, where it's like, oh, we're a rock club, we'll just treat everyone like shit,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
though it's completely antithetical to our entire upbringing and background. It's like when you tour, I've toured Europe in bands in Japan, and you get treated so much better. Like, but in America, it's just like, fuck you. How dare you show up and play?
I've heard that even like small bands going to Japan to tour, they're like, I didn't even know I had a Japanese audience, and they get there and they're treated like royalty, and
It's
like
amazing. It's
play big
civilized.
clubs. Yeah,
Yeah, you don't
I feel like Tom Waits wrote a song about that. Big in Japan. No one. Okay. Cool.
it just, again, the half glass of wine. I would have been with you. This is the problem. I shouldn't have had that, but I'll just continue drinking wine. No, yeah, Japan. I toured there, and it was like, afterwards you would be like, "Oh, let's go out for a nice dinner now."
yeah.
It's completely, I don't know, it's just something. Yeah, in comedy, which is not to say there's plenty of awful people in comedy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, clearly. But but yeah, it's the sort of rock and roll gross thing is not as prevalent.
Yeah. The reason I asked about the 400 bar is because I had a friend there whose job was to be like the ticket taker back when we had physical tickets.
Mhm.
And his job, it was like a two-prong job. One was to take the tickets, and the other was to fill up the urinals with ice.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Two of the big jobs, which also, but why? What? I don't understand. Why is there ice in urinals? I never thought about it.
I think it
saves water. You don't have to flush.
Oh, you don't have to flush. Okay.
So
It's
most of
hiding in
those
plain sight.
most of those urinals don't have working flushing.
flusher things.
So
Okay.
what it does is like the more the ice melts, the more it washes your pee down into it's gravity.
But this is
It's
goes back
science.
to my earlier point. We all came from homes with plumbing, and we can all make sure the plumbing works at work. And I want to applaud St. Vitus here in New York, which is, I think, temporarily closed because some neighbor asshole complained about something. But they always have soap and hand towels, toilet paper, and it's a heavy metal club. You would think they're just not going to bother, but they do, because they're good people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're regretting having me on the show.
No,
yet?
not
No, I'm
not
just
in the
talking about
least.
bathrooms.
I think like
That's par for the course. It's no.
I mean, I feel like, I want to be the Norma Ray for, clean bathrooms and well-stocked bathrooms, or even the Martha Ray for you, the older audience.
I worked at a bar in Oakland in Uptown, and it was in the early 2000s. It was like one of the more hopping bars in Oakland, and the owner of the bar, like his number one thing where he would we'd make fun of him over it. Every 15 minutes, he's like, check the bathroom, stock the bathroom. Like, you need restock the toilet paper, clean it. It needs to be a clean bathroom. I want this to be the cleanest bathroom in Oakland. So it matters, like
it really does. I mean, like, I feel, I don't know. I think if anyone can walk away with some nugget from this episode, let it be that. Also, don't
Keep
ever
your
play a 5-string bass.
well, okay.
We were just talking about this earlier today.
We were just talking about this earlier today. Someone who will not be on the show because he's at band practice.
Because he has to practice more because he has an extra string on his bass.
Yeah, he showed us a picture of his 5-string bass, and I was like, fucking cool, bro.
If you're not in a salsa band, it's not. The only reason you should ever have a 5-string bass is so you can go, like, that's the only reason. And when that happens, I'm like, yes, 1000%.
I gotta tell Sean.
Yeah, that's the only time. Every other time, don't know. I had a friend. I had a dear friend the other day try to tell me like how he got a 7-string guitar and how cool it was, and I just said, no, it's not.
Yeah, that sums it up.
It's just like, no, it's not. I'm not crazy about 6 strings even. That's too many.
Who needs that last E?
Would Keith Richards done do it? My buddy Jimmy Bauer plays with 4 strings. I play with 6. It's a crutch.
I had posted something on I don't know, I think it was Threads or something like that about how like I'd be interested in a 7-string guitar if they all didn't look like so prepared for space travel.
Well, that's the thing. They know their audience.
Like that extra string needs to make the body more aerodynamic for some reason. I'm not sure.
Like they've never made a relic 7-string guitar, and I don't know if that's I'm bashing 7 strings or relic guitars now, but I guess I'm now I don't even know what I mean. But at the same time, you know what I mean.
I was talking about this the other day with Sowers and Benson, and we were talking about
Benson amps.
Yeah, Christopher.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're just doing? Wow, you're really wow. This is really
Christopher Benson, who called me up.
We're doing a podcast together. So we were talking about this on our Work in Progress podcast together, and we were talking about.
Wait, is it called the Amp Boys? Because if it's not, you can use that.
No, it's called Amplified Nonsense.
I think Amp Boys is
I think
better.
Amp
Looks
Boys is
better on the
better.
shirt.
I think mine's better, but
I don't know.
but it's a
No, I mean,
constant
I
topic
always
of
have a
debate.
form of autism that is I'm good at naming Amp podcasts, and Amp Boys is pretty good.
What's
I
your
mean,
score?
imagine
Amp
the
Boys is good.
T-shirt. I don't know what
It's
the
a-
other guys.
It's a constant topic of debate what the name should be. So I'll bring that up on the next one. But what we were
Well,
talking
I
about,
would say Brian Sowers should break off and just call it Sours Hour and be done with it.
I'd listen to that show.
I mean,
So-
again, I think of merchandising. You guys are focused on the wrong things.
Amp
Sours
Boys.
Hour. I'm
What would the
already like
logo-
I'm
what would the logo
googling it
be?
now.
What would the logo be for Amp Boys?
Amp Boys. You have like a Fender Champ. You modify the logo, of course, so you don't get sued. And then each knob is one of your heads. Done.
Done. Yeah,
That's it. You just
that's not bad. I'll
you
pitch
just
that.
made your
I'll-
podcast.
I'll
I
pitch
mean,
that.
it's
All right.
pretty good. I
If it-
can't
if
remember. I
you-
mean, I don't think there's how many knobs are on a Champ? 3, 4? It can't be more than 4 or
Too
5.
many. I mean, probably 7, just like a 7-string guitar. And that's what we were talking about. The limitation. Like we were talking about how creativity comes from limitation. Like Sowers was saying he likes playing a 4-piece drum kit instead of a 5-piece because it makes you be more creative with what you
This
have.
is exactly not to
You
be.
add strings, and like that's the opposite, right? If you add
This
a
is
string,
why I
it's
hate-
less creative.
This is why I hate orchestras. I like chamber music because it's like, 4 people figuring the fuck whatever Beethoven had in mind. An orchestra, everyone can do. Oh, the violins getting to sit out this round. I don't know. I want everyone in there just doing it, bailing out the boat.
So
Anyway, Sorry,
so yeah-
that next half a glass of wine is kicking in.
yeah,
I'm
it's
lashing
good. It's
out.
good. It's good. I mean,
I
we're going in
didn't-
the right. We're going in the
I
right
gotta-
direction for
I just
sure.
gotta say, I didn't come here to shit talk orchestras. But
I mean, that should be the whole topic.
They deserve it.
I mean, I know Ryan Sowers right now is getting a hold of a lawyer to copyright Sowers Hour. And if he's not, he's insane.
He's on top of it. He has a company called Sour Sound already. So Sour's Hour is probably
It's I think the words you're looking for are better than sour
better.
sound.
Sour's Hour.
That's just alliteration. Sour's Hour that's next level.
So I was making a pot of soup because I had Moderna hangover yesterday, and I'm stirring this pot of soup.
Wait, you just got a booster yesterday?
Yeah. Well, I went in. I mean, it was my third, but I went in for a physical, and the doctor was like, "You should really do it." I was like, "Okay."
Oh,
So I
okay.
did.
No, I applaud you for doing it. It just seems like
But
Yeah.
like it hurt.
you've
It
done
hurt
it
pretty.
already.
It hurt bad. And so I'm, stirring the soup and my phone rings and it is Christopher Benson.
Oh, from
And-
Benson Amps?
Yeah, and I pick up the phone and the first thing he says to me says, "Hey, you Peter Pan motherfucker."
Wait, why? But I
don't know.
honestly, I do not expect the proprietor of a boutique amp company to speak like that. I assumed, I mean, he
You're in
has
the wrong
those
place.
like fabric grill cloths. I thought he was a gentleman, but apparently not. Big
Dirtiest
fan,
mouth.
by the way. I do
Yeah.
love his amps.
Dirtiest
Make-
mouth I've ever.
He
I've ever
makes
seen.
good amps.
He makes amazing amps.
They're good. I own a couple.
He's a good guy.
You and I, Dave, have a similar love in common, and that is Illuminati guitars out of Asheville.
Oh, totally.
Um,
Love them.
And I have to imagine for touring, that's the perfect guitar, right? What do you?
It's an amazing guitar. I have one here. I'll just kind of hold it. This is the thing, I have this rack of guitars, and I realize I'm kind of banging them up by grabbing them arbitrarily. I
That's
should have
rad.
kept that as a thought, so I didn't really add anything. But
That's super cool.
yeah, this is the Illuminati. The battery's dead, but it does light up, which is
The battery. What does it have? Active, like an active boost in it or something? Or
no, it lights. We lost
Ryan? He's pooping or something. I don't know.
He's
probably
asking me questions.
He has a bathroom in his studio, so
That's
I
luxury
imagine-
living.
I imagine he just like runs in there to poop, like
Sure.
halfway through the show. But yeah, the battery. It just what it.
No, the
handles
Illuminati.
LEDs or
Well,
what?
it's an amazing guitar. It's truly like such a joy.
Sorry, my camera went out. I went to go get this.
Oh my gosh. Oh, so that the Nebula. Wait, is that the graphite neck Nebula?
Yeah.
I think I may have. Did you just get that?
No, I've had it for I don't know, about a year now.
Oh, okay, because I played that exact model like fairly recently.
Well, what's his name? The
What's
dude
his
who
name?
does
James Little.
no, not James Little. Trying to blank out his name right now. He does like their marketing stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
He has a gold one just like this, and I was like, they were like, "Do you want to spec one out?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want exactly what you have."
Oh yeah, they're amazing. I mean, it's so fun, and yeah, they sound great. They play amazingly well, and yeah, it also there's like little LED lights, and you hit a switch. The first time I played one was at Relic Music in Red Bank, New Jersey.
In New Jersey, yeah.
And there's a little toggle switch, and I thought it was like an out of phase switch or something, and then I
Coil
turned it,
split.
and then and then the guitar lit up, and it's an amazing, especially when you're trying to take the show to the next level.
Yeah.
You just hit the thing, the guitar lights up. Also, you can really hear that the tone does change. If you just believe, it does actually affect the tone. But it's an amazing. I love it.
I was speccing this out, and they asked about the LED, and initially I said I didn't want an LED in it.
Huge mistake.
Well, yeah. So then I came back to so we're all of these gentlemen and I are in a text group, and I was like, I just spec'd out this guitar and I decided no LED. And one of the guys who's not here is like, well, you fucked up. So then I just like really quickly like emailed back. I'm like, LED, yes, LED, purple.
Oh,
please,
so you did get it.
Yeah.
So do you have? Oh,
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa! I haven't seen that. That's rad.
Oh, that's badass. Yeah, it's really the thing with the LED. It's tricky because the guitar does light up, which is an important thing to have. And now that I have it, like I'm always reaching for the light switch on all my other guitars. But the thing about it is like, as we were talking about, I think before, I've been touring with opening for Tenacious D, which is the funnest thing in the world. And yes, I'm bragging.
Yeah.
Also, but playing on those huge stages, you have to make the LEDs. So when the guitar lights up, then you have to run away from the spotlight to make it really like to get the full effect. You have to run away from the light, and then people are like, "Oh, his guitar's glowing."
Yeah. You should have that like agreement with the sound guy. Like when I do this,
yeah, that's your cue to
you
just
cut the fucking lights and hit the lasers.
Yeah. That's actually a really good idea. That's a simple conversation I could have had, but I will
You
do
just
it.
run around stage instead. It's fine.
This upcoming, I guess it's like a hand signal I got to figure out, but
Good.
I in all seriousness, I love, they make such an amazing guitar, and then I like that they did something arguably silly. Be like, oh, it's amazing. It's completely like scienced out, and then like, oh, we'll just make it light up also while we're at
Yeah.
it. I mean,
I-
it's like Ace Frehley's smoking. That would be the next thing, actually. Now that I'm gonna text James when we're done and be like, a guitar that smokes like out of the neck pickup.
I feel like James would be like, let's do it.
Oh
No, he'll be
yeah,
like, I've already
he-
done it.
yeah. He's completely insane in the best possible way.
So my story with Illuminati was I was working for Stringjoy, and they
Oh,
sent
nice.
me down to film at the Illuminati shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to the folks at Stringjoy, and I'm like, should I do my research? All I knew was that they made aluminum neck guitars. That was all I knew. And so I talked to Stringjoy, and I was like, should I like research this on the flight? And and they were like, nah, it's probably better like if you go into it just blind. I think that would be coolest. And so I went in expecting like a bunch of stoners listening to Sleep and whatever. And so like I got super fucking high, and like I went in and they were all stone sober, and like I was like, fuck. And I talked to James for like 10 minutes. I'm like, this guy is the smartest guy. And
Oh
then
yeah, he's amazing.
they showed me around to like basically this, like they brought me around to where they do the reclaimed wood and all this stuff. And they, like this idea that they were going to, really, really reduce the carbon footprint of guitars. And,
Mhm.
and it was this very mission focused thing. And I'm high, and I'm like, all right, cool. And I like basically went back to my hotel room, sobered up, came back the next day with a completely different, mental attitude, and went at it. But I was so absolutely amazed by, all of it, just all of it, because it was,
Oh
it's an
yeah,
astounding thing that they're doing.
it's so badass. I mean, it's really cool. I love it, and they're doing all these collaborations. They're doing like new versions of the Volino guitars.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
Mark Bolan used to play, and I played one of those, and totally badass. And then they're doing stuff with Woodwright does it Doom, and those are amazing as well. But
Dave
yeah.
Hill. This is Eddie. He runs the meme account Blues Lawyer Memes. I don't know if you're
Oh,
familiar.
nice.
Yeah.
Is that like a Joe Bonamassa tribute page?
Sports.
I didn't mean that as a swipe at Joe Bonamassa.
You could have, and it would have been totally fine.
But
That
at
would've
the
been-
same time, I meant it. I went to but that seems to be like I went to my buddy Mike Hickey was his guitar tech for years, and I went to a show, and the audience was like very Blues Lawyer, a lot of like leather bomber jackets, people cutting loose.
Brand new.
Yeah,
leather
brand
bomber
new.
jackets. Yeah.
Friday night bomber jacket.
Everyone's in there on an AARP discount.
Yeah.
He's a discussion all of itself, which I'm not sure we want to have tonight.
Joe Bonamassa?
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I mean, I don't listen to his music, but I'm a fan of I enjoy watching his YouTube videos and Instagram videos.
Okay. What part of
that?
What part of what he does pulls you in?
He seems I like anyone that can rip some sweet solos. I'm into that. Even if the song that it goes into I don't like. I've trained myself from a very young age to isolate sweet solos from bad music, which is not me saying that Joe Bonamassa's music is bad. It's completely separate.
I feel like that's a product of having. I assume you and I are relatively the same age, and I feel like that's a
I'm
product.
78 years old.
Yep, we're exactly. We might even have the same birthday. But like I grew up in the 80s, and the 80s was like the soloist was the most important thing aside from the lead singer. Like, you know, and then there were bands like, you know, like anything Yngwie Malmsteen was in, you know, it's like he had a singer on some records, but like you didn't want him there. You wanted.
Oh, exactly. I mean, Yngwie, his whole thing. I mean, maybe this is a distinctly New York thing, but you go into like a deli and there's like a fruit salad in a plastic container, and on the top it's like
Kiwi.
strawberries, blueberries, and like kind of fruits you're like excited about. But when we open it, you're like, oh, it's all melon. It's all cantaloupe and melon. And that's basically Yngwie Malmsteen's musical output. Is basically it's a bunch of melon cantaloupe surrounding some strawberries and kiwi and blueberries and stuff, and maybe a bit of mango. Just it's something just for the solo. You have to have all that other stuff happening.
Whoops.
Just so there's a solo. Can I just if I can just really beat this Yngwie Malmsteen thing to death?
Please.
I saw him a few
The
years
way
ago.
he beats arpeggios to death.
Well, this is the thing. A friend of mine, Les Godfrey, who builds Godfrey guitars, which are amazing. I have one back here. He played Yngwie's. He was in a band that opened for Yngwie. Said Yngwie's action's very high. Bit of trivia. I was very surprised to hear it. But Yngwie played at Irving Plaza here in New York a few years ago, and I had never seen him. And I begged a friend of mine to go, and he didn't want to go. I finally talked him into it, and he came down. I met him at the door. He's like, are the tickets under your name? I'm like, no, you have to buy a ticket. And the look on his face when he found out that it wasn't a free, like he assumed the whole time that I had guest lists and I just needed someone to come with me. I'm like, no, we're buying Yngwie Malmsteen tickets. Oh, it was just really a real joy to see his disappointment. But Yngwie Malmsteen, for 20 minutes, greatest concert you'll ever see.
You know, a couple of months ago, I got just supremely stoned and watched. Like, I was like, it was one of those things where I was like, the only thing that's going to satisfy this level of being high is a live Yngwie concert. And so I watched a relatively recent Yngwie show.
Mhm.
And there was a hole in his wig.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there was like
He wears a wig?
Oh God, yeah.
Is this a known thing?
I'm Googling
Yeah.
this.
I never
just-
read about this in Guitar for the Practicing Musician.
There was like a hole in his wig, and like I was so high that I could not stop just looking at the hole in his wig as the lights shine down on it. But the other thing I was really impressed with was like how the guy could be so fluent while flipping picks out into the audience between every fucking phrase, you know? Like I was just like, man. But at the same time, like I've gone back and watched like videos of Yngwie in his 20s, and it's like, damn, that dude was amazing. Is amazing. Like,
my
I mean,
God.
you know, like it's a feat of, you know, like whatever.
It's all on the scalloped fretboard.
Is
And
it?
yes, and also people talk smack about Yngwie, but any time I've ever seen him, I've watched 7 million Yngwie videos. I'm like, I don't know, seems like a nice guy. I've never seen. I'm always just like, I don't know, seems cool to me. And then there's that incident on a plane where someone threw water on him apparently, and he said like, you've unleashed the fury or whatever, and then he named an album Unleash the Fury, which I was like, he has a sense of humor. I don't know. I hope I don't meet him. I mean, I do want to meet. I would love to meet him, but if and when I do, I hope that I'm not wrong about this, but I don't know. He seems like a delight, as best I can tell.
I have no claim as to whether this story is true or not. But a guy who runs a local music store, so that should weigh.
Yeah, already this story is like I
That
got
should weigh.
40% of it is apocryphal.
Yeah. He had said that a friend of his was the DoD rep, and that they wanted to have Yngwie at NAMM one year to do the DoD preamp.
Wait, what year is this?
It's fucking 80s, like when he was like.
Oh yeah. Oh, so
And-
when DoD is calling shots, I mean, come on.
Right.
What year is that?
So
that's not me mocking DoD. Big fan.
No. So I guess they were like, hey, yeah, exactly. They're great.
No, they're
great
pedals.
So they wanted to.
One
good
thing since the 80s.
I guess Yngwie wanted to talk to this dude before they agreed that they would do the live or the NAMM thing. So they flew him out there. He goes out to his house in Miami, of course, Miami. And
oh yeah, I'd be upset if he didn't live in Miami.
And I guess like he the house was weird. Like he had guitars lying like dead soldiers all over the place and stuff like that. And they did the thing and it was fine. And he was like, yeah, you know what? I'll come to NAMM for that. And the guy's like, great, I'll call a cab to get back to the airport. And Yngwie's like, no, I insist. I'll drive you to the airport. And so they get into Yngwie's fucking Lamborghini Countach, white, of course. And
of course.
And he had said that like by the time they reached the end of the driveway, it was the fastest he had ever been in a car. So fast forward a couple of weeks, and turns out that Yngwie can't come to NAMM. Because Charles, are you commenting as me right now?
Yeah. I just realized, so I was gonna have some fun with it. Sorry.
Dude, light it up, dude. Go.
So Yngwie can't come to NAMM, and the reason Yngwie can't come to NAMM is because Yngwie's mother-in-law had parked her Pontiac Grand Prix in front of the spot where the Lamborghini Countach would pull out of the Yngwie cave.
Oh no.
And so he shot her.
Well, okay. I'm seeing it from both sides.
He shot her with a shotgun. He didn't want to kill her. He just wanted to send a message. So really just kind of like mangled up her arm, and so Yngwie was in jail and therefore could not make it to NAMM that year to show the DoD preamp.
I feel like you wouldn't, if you shot someone, again, justified in his actions, but you wouldn't, I don't know, I feel like you wouldn't go on to play I'll See the Light Tonight again all over the world. He shot him
Hondo, you should be here right now.
Yeah, what the fuck, Hondo?
So we do have as the sun is setting on Spruce Effects.
Oh, literally, but don't say that. It makes it, people are gonna get the wrong idea.
I want to know how you guys know each other.
Well, Dave and
Brian.
Dave plays some Spruce Effects stuff on his board.
Yeah, I have a gal right over here.
How do you feel about the labeling on the knobs on Spruce Effect pedal?
Yeah.
Well, I'm of two minds with it. Aesthetically, I love it.
But
functionally, part of me is like, I wish it told me what the knobs did, but
Ryan.
But it's one of those things. I think it's a good thing in that it makes you just be like, I'm gonna quit messing around.
Eddie,
And
do you also
I'm gonna
need?
make this permanently on my board, so I don't have to remember what the knobs do. I mean, I have another pedal here. I just got the other day, the Bauer Power pedal from Does It Doom, and one of the knobs is Suffering, the other is Abuse.
Yeah, what does that do for you?
I would argue that that's less helpful than not saying anything.
I have a meme about that.
Eddie, do you also need the strings on your guitar labeled for what note they are?
It's very different.
This
Very
is a good
different.
counter
I don't
argument.
even play guitar.
Volume, tone, gain.
I just play the
Yeah, it's
controller.
not
I
that-
play the controller from Guitar Hero. What do you guys do?
But I think with the you figure out your thing and you just use the pedal a lot and then you get on with your life, Like I have this other I have many I would argue most of my pedals, the knobs are, I'll say it, needlessly labeled what they do. And once I'm used to using them, Brian's left. He's upset.
He's offended.
But
I give him shit about
No,
this.
I'm here. It's just raining.
oh, okay. So, but I think like once, I don't really notice. I don't know. Once I'm using it, I'm just like, I don't know. They go this way? I don't remember what any of them say or do. Also, I'd even go further as to say, as someone who flies around with a pedal board, the board gets out of whack, and sometimes, especially, when I'm opening a show, maybe I don't have that much time to figure out what's going on with my pedal board. I'm a big fan of just letting it rip, and wherever the knobs are after they got off the plane, that's what's happening.
That's the show you're
Yeah.
seeing tonight.
Yeah, that's what's going on. And so
Yeah.
I don't know. The more initially I was like, well, kind of wish he would label what the knobs do, but then now I resent all my other pedals that explained. It's pandering. I think it's pandering to tell me, oh, you think I'm an idiot? You don't think I know that's a tone knob? I'm not a
They all change the
fucking-
sounds. Yeah, they change the
yeah,
sound.
I'm not a fucking child. You don't have to tell me it's a tone knob. Do you think I
So-
can't tell it's getting louder? You fucking idiot.
Yeah,
So,
Eddie.
Dave, one of the things that you're a fan of
Sure.
outside of music is the NHL and hockey.
Well, hockey primarily, yeah. I mean, NHL I'm a fan of, but it's flawed. Like it's flawed in the same way that I would argue that all pedals with labeled knobs are flawed.
Somebody on Instagram asked it, do the knob labels on a Fuzz Factory need to exist? No,
No.
not at all. Not at all.
They all do the
No,
same.
they don't. No, that's a pedal where the labels they hurt you. They don't help.
They don't matter.
Oh yeah. Plus, like, I mean, at the end of the day, not to say at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, it's all in the hands anyway. The pedals,
Yeah.
I'm really, the pedals, I love pedals, but it's really the hands that take it
Yeah.
to the next level.
I went to see
In any craft,
I
right?
went to
That's
I went
exactly
to,
right.
went to see a
Bus
cover band.
driver. What?
I went to see a cover band once that was playing inside of a tent outside of a ski event. So real A+ gig, and at one point I was invited to speak with the guitarist in the cover band playing in this ski event tent, and during their set break, and
Sure.
and I had kind of the moment where I was like, boy, I don't know what to talk to you about. So I was like, hey, you got this amp and you have this pedal board here with this stuff on it, and I recognized some of those things, and whatever. And he stopped me. And he was like, anything that you heard that you liked, man.
What?
And that man was Joe Bonamassa.
Whoa.
It might have been. How is Anthony on here twice?
Oh yeah, what the heck?
That's a power move.
There are 2 different camera angles.
So you're a big fan of hockey. Brian is a big fan of hockey. Anthony is a big fan of hockey.
I'm out.
I don't.
Yeah,
What?
see you later, dude.
He's out. Oh no.
I don't watch a lot of hockey. I went to a North Stars game back when they were in Minnesota.
Sure.
I've gone to a couple of Wild games because my sister has season tickets. But I'm mostly a football guy. But Brian makes fun of me a lot because I refer to hockey fights as aggressive hugging.
I mean, aren't all fights aggressive hugging when you really think about it?
It's most of boxing, right?
Ryan, you won. You won this one.
I think almost
You won
all
this round.
almost all fights are really just like displaced
But in the
admiration.
exactly. But in the last couple of minutes before we close out here, because we're running low on time, I wanted to discuss some of the best songs to listen to, whether you are watching a hockey fight or about to jump into a hockey fight. Like what most of the stuff I listen to is, stuff that is more geared towards making babies.
Sure.
But
I believe you're referring to Yngwie Malmsteen's
right.
Rising Force.
I think he made babies with single arpeggios, just like he just willed babies.
I mean, at a time, yes.
But what is the ultimate song to listen to while you're watching a hockey fight?
Jailbreak by Thin Lizzy.
That's a good one.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a good one.
I had that up, Ryan.
Or I would say I would even just keep saying Jailbreak by AC/DC.
See, I had TNT by AC/DC. Boy,
Yeah, that's a good one. It's an interesting thing. As much as people talk about like rock and also metal being dead, at least in America, when you go to a hockey game, almost invariably the music that is being played, not the stupid music, the pandering music that they play during commercial breaks where they're like trying to engage families bringing their small children, which am completely against bringing children anywhere. But when it's about the play, it's always hard rock and metal. It's Pantera, it's AC/DC.
Yep.
And so it just goes to show you, like,
well, and that was the thing when I was making my own list. I was kind of like, boy, this is a lot of white, like rock bands. And
Yeah, but
and then I decided that was
I think that reflects the tastes of the person who put the list together.
fair enough. But then I was
perhaps their biases.
But ultimately, I decided.
I like that you said biases. I mean, I like that you did that.
Once again, the NHL is flawed, but hockey's great, right?
The NHL does need work.
Ultimately, I decided it was fine because there's not a lot of diversity in hockey, unless you're talking like the diversity between Western Europe and Eastern Europe.
It's growing. It needs to grow more, but yeah,
it is growing a lot. Actually,
it's growing. For sure, which I think is great.
My ultimate, if I were going into a hockey fight, if I was like throwing down the gloves, like ready to fucking go, I would want to be listening to "Running with the Devil" by Van Halen, and it would start with the pick scrape.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Dun, dun.
That's a really good choice, actually.
I'm coming out of left field. Sing, 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 Benny Goodman.
Sing, 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 Benny Goodman?
Explain it.
Sing by Benny Goodman.
Explain it.
I'm gonna go sing by Travis if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, that's a really feely. That one feels a lot.
No, it's like that. Yes, it's Benny Goodman. It's like fucking clarinet, like jazz thing. It's funny to have a fight set to that.
If there was like a,
I don't feel like you didn't understand the assignment.
If you were watching a hockey movie and there was a fight, and all of a sudden this like swinging jazz tune came on, you'd be like, "This is the best fucking fight scene I've ever seen."
Well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
If they did it to like Thunderstruck, you'd be like, "All right." But I'm just saying something you don't
they
expect.
used a big.
But you're saying if the Benny Goodman
AC/DC.
came on, if the Benny Goodman came on, and you're walking through, you would stop.
Okay, what's going on here?
What's this?
Yeah.
Kick Out the Jams by MC5 would be a good one.
Oh, I mean anything by MC5. High School.
The Space Jam theme.
I Believe I Can Fly.
No, the other one.
Okay.
Not the one by the child molester. The other one.
There's a few.
Right?
Oh, R.
Space Jam
Kelly.
the entire time.
We should do an entire episode on Space Jam.
We should do an episode on.
I've never seen Space Jam.
Wait,
Killer
Oh man,
There's your homework assignment right
journey.
there.
It's Space Jam. It's that Michael Jordan is in it.
He was in the first one, and then
the second
There's
one.
more than one.
yeah, there was another one, and it was
It was LeBron.
LeBron. And this,
Oh,
I mean,
I love LeBron. He's great.
so I have a 7-year-old, and we watched the Michael Jordan one together, and it was great. Like everything about it was great. And I know, because I grew up in the 80s, I know Michael Jordan is a horrible human being, but he was a great actor. And then you like get into like the LeBron thing, and it's like the personality was not the same. Like
Right. Any movie with Muggsy Bogues in it is A-okay in my book.
yeah, exactly.
I love.
Exactly.
5'3"
Can I
dunk.
tell
baby.
you my loss of innocence with Michael Jordan? I'm not saying he raped me. But I was unaware of like there was no. I'm also not saying no. I shouldn't.
You're just not saying it.
He just checked the joke in real time and decided to scratch it.
Yeah, no, it's just a bad. We'll edit this out.
No, it's live, bro.
The first time I went to Las Vegas, that's right. I've been more than once. My sister got
It's $75 a flight. How could you?
I don't know. I don't know. This is a long time ago. My sister got a free work trip to Vegas, and she was like, "Oh, do you want to go with me to Vegas?" So we went to Vegas, and we were in the Mirage, the hotel or the casino, and it was All-Star Weekend. I think you see where they said it. NBA All-Star Weekend, and Michael Jordan was there, like gambling and smoking cigars, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Michael Jordan walks among us."
Yeah.
And then the next day, he was at the All-Star game, and they were like, "He's been sick in bed all weekend with the flu. He missed the, what's the thing where they try to like." They do like dunking and 3-pointers and stuff. What's that called?
Those
Skills
All-Star
competition.
game?
Yeah.
Skills. The day before they do skills, they're like,
Yeah.
he missed the skills, so because he was so sick, lying in bed. And I just thought, Michael Jordan lives in a house of lies. I saw him gambling, and that was when I was like, grown-ups lie, and the world is fake. And I don't believe in anything anymore. And I don't even know if hockey's Wayne Gretzky is a good guy either. I don't know.
Do you remember that cartoon that was like Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, and like Bo Jackson?
Yeah. It was a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
Even the animation on it was horrible because they were just like, "This isn't gonna last. Let's just get it out there." Yeah.
All right. before we close this down, anybody else have any like really great hockey fight songs that you want to add to the?
I
The
thought
actual-
you
the
were
actual
going to
fight
say, does
song-
anyone have really great Michael Jordan stories? But that no.
Got a back catalog of those.
Does anyone else have a Michael Jordan story that arguably peters out very quickly?
Yeah. There's a story about someone who had benched a lot of one of the championships and benched the championship game, and when they won, he had tears streaming down his eyes because his team had just won a championship. And Michael Jordan walked up to him and said, "What are you crying for? I just did all of that for you."
Oh my
Wow.
god! That's
Wait,
brutal,
Michael
dude.
Jordan said that to his teammate?
Wow.
What a dick.
Yeah, that guy sounds mean.
Oh yeah, he's a terrible human being. I mean, so is Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is a bad human being. But it's that's the cost of being great.
Yeah,
That's the cross you got to carry. I mean, that's why Dave Hill is here.
I mean, Michael Jackson.
I feel like that was like a compliment, but also mostly an insult.
I mean, like, you just the cost of being great is that
he in one fell swoop insulted every single
everybody, just everyone.
Yeah, it was really
across the board.
It's quite a bit.
But no. I mean, it's just it's like Madonna's not a nice human being.
Oh, do not suggest that, please.
My understanding is that Taylor Swift is wonderful, though.
I love Taylor
and it has
Swift.
nothing to do with how litigious she may or may not be.
I'm not really familiar with her music. I do know that song "Shake It Off." It's catchy, and that's the only song I know. Madonna has 7 million great songs.
I like
Madonna could like stab my dad with a butter knife, and I would still be like, "You're the greatest."
Yeah,
I agree. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, now, Michael Jordan, on the other hand.
And on that note, my friends, our hour is up. This was really fun. Dave, thank you for taking time out of your incredibly busy
oh my
career.
gosh. Yeah, like I have community service hours I have to go back to after this.
And thank you guys for holding down the fort. Anthony, thank you for jumping in last minute. Sorry we didn't talk to you.
It's all right.
Marla amps, really, really great amps. Silktone effects, or Silktone amps, really great amps. Spruce effects, really great effects. Eddie, really great memes. Dave, really great all around.
Just everything. I am a great Gal effects user. Spruce effects Gal pedal user.
He can poach an egg like nobody's ever.
He knows all the knobs.
I know all the knobs.
There are 4.
There's 4
it's
knobs.
Really hard.
Also, like I have to, not to defend the non-labeling lifestyle, but all you do with anything is just go 12 o'clock, and if it's not working for you at 12 o'clock, all the knobs at 12. Hey, maybe it's not for you. Maybe the rock and roll lifestyle is not for you, right? Maybe you should have gone to grad school. Just saying.
I think that's a good place to end.
Yes.
Knobs at 12.